Okay, good morning. So as I told, I want to solve some problems from the Indian books, but I told you that if you are behind your studying, you can just work on the problems in the book. You don't have to pay attention to this lesson here now. Okay, so the first question I want to solve, by the way, I explain in full detail how you need to think about the problem. So the first question, let me just write it down here on the board, then I have to switch the camera. So we have 1 over 216 to the power of minus 2/3, and then divided by 1 over 27 to the power of minus 4 over 3. Okay. By the way, I want to try to explain a lot of things here for you. First of all, if you have a fraction, I haven't talked about this in the lesson because you can find it in a different way. One thing that I want to mention, and I want the students who want to do things faster listen to me, is that if you have a fraction like a over b, and then you have a negative power on top of that, it's not a big deal. So if you want to simplify this expression, but I want you to learn it once and try to send it to your memory so that you can do it faster next time. So in principle, what should I do? I see a negative power. I write 1 over that number to power positive. Yes? And then what does it mean? It means 1 over a over b to power n. I have a rule for it. It becomes a to the n, b to the n. Yes? And then can you tell me what will be the answer? 1 over a number. By the way, if you don't know this, that's also good. If I say 1 over a over b, it means 1 divided by a over b. It means 1 multiplied by b over a. It means b over a. Yes? So 1 over a fraction is the other fraction so that the numerator and the denominators are swapped. So remember these things. I mean, you can always calculate this, but I want you to be fast. 1 over a fraction is the reversed fraction. By the way, that's called the reciprocal. So if I ask you what is the reciprocal of 2, you say 1 over 2. What is the reciprocal of 1 over 2? It is 2. Yes? Okay, and then according to this story, 1 over this, it is just b to the n, a to the n. And now you know that you can write it as b over a to the n. Now look here and there. Ignore what I have done in the middle. If you don't remember it, every time you have to do something like this, but it is not hard. If I have a fraction with a negative power, I can get rid of the negative power, but the price that I have to pay is to swap these two numbers. Is that clear? So this rule of thumb, it's important to remember for faster calculations. So you can write it in your Anki, if you have it, or in your notebook to remember it. So you see that this makes life much easier because working with fractions are not that efficient for our brain. So it is better to work with integers if possible rather than working with fractions. Yes? So what I do, can you tell me how can I use that rule told you here? I have one fraction, but the power is negative. I can get rid of the negative power, but the price that I have to pay is to swap these two. But swapping 1 over 216 is very simple. It's just 216. So I would say if I see this, I don't spend that much time. I immediately write it like this. Yes? Is that understandable for everyone? And then this one. The same story, you see, instead of 1 over 27, I write 27 over 1, which is 27, and then I make the negative power positive. Everyone hopefully knows that this is 3 to the power of 3, and then to the power of 4 over 3. But might be this number is not familiar to your eyes. What you need to do, you go to other part of the paper, scratch paper, and start factorizing this. What is the number comes into your mind? The numbers that you write on the right should be prime numbers. So 2. What is the, if you divide that, it becomes 108. You divide by 2, 54. You divide by 2, 27. Yes? And then, by the way, you know that 27 is already 3 to power 3. Yes? So then 216 is 2 to power 3 and times 3 to power 3. But because of that rule that the exponents are the same, I write the same exponent and I multiply the bases. And then you immediately realize this is 6 to power 3. So if you know this number, it is famous for you, you can do it in a matter of seconds. So you're using your memory. Other than that, if you don't know, it doesn't mean that you cannot solve the problem. You know the method, even if you don't have the calculator available. So what you do, I would write 6 to power 3 to the power of 2/3. Yes? And then what you do, you know that you have a power, raise it to another power. So you do it in your head. You have to multiply 3 by 2 over 3. Many people write 6 over 3, 2. It's correct. But learn that you can simplify. So this is just 6 to power 2. And then this becomes 3 to power 4. Yes? Understandable? You can calculate at this stage, but I prefer not to do it. I prefer to write it as 6 times 6. 3 to power 4 means 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Of course, I can write 36 over 81, but I want you to respect about simplifications. So this one and that one are simplified, a 2 is left. This one and that one are simplified, another 2 is left. So now if I multiply 2 by 2 is 4. If I multiply 3 by 3, it's 9. So the answer should be, do we have it? Yes, part B. So the answer is B, not D. Is that clear now? Now I think you have a good experience. I will come back to them. We can just go, for example, to number 3, because if you learned what I told you, you can probably solve number 3 yourself. Okay? So I will pause recording so that you can work on it yourself. So you should be able to do it faster this time. Okay? So I pause recording. Yeah, please work on it. Recording, and then I will come back again. Yes. Number 4. Try to do it first, 100% correct, and then fast. So for example, 216 is already above in the board. Yes? Which one is that? A. So let us wait. I don't know. So if your answer is correct, you did it really on time. So it is possible to do it in 19 seconds. So it is not just a dream, yes? If you practice, you really can do these questions in 90 seconds. I think you did it below 90 seconds. And as you see, some questions are easier, some questions are harder. So at the end, 90 seconds in an average. Some questions take shorter time, some questions take longer time. So in total, it is possible, really. People are doing it. Okay, let us let just one moment to see. Did you finish? Okay, very good. I will come to you, okay? So, actually important because at the end, in the exam A-level questions, you need to know how to write it down properly as well. So for example, in national exams, we don't have national exams, but later, the students who got the correct answer, one student get only the C point, the other student will also get the A point as well, because the student in the C point just got the answer right, the other one was also able to write it properly. So be careful, that's important to learn, to improve your skills of writing. Okay, so yeah, we will see. Yeah, but I want you to be patient and do this patiently. Here, what matters for me is the correct answer. Of course, if you can do it fast, it is much better, but don't focus on being fast. Try to be precise on number 7. I will come to you, just let me write this. I don't know why they put pair of brackets around. It is not necessary for these numbers. Yeah. Anyway. So who asked question?
Of course, you can also write this as it's writing it.
Which one is that?
Yes.
But there's no one.
Wait, oh, I wrote it wrong.
No, if this is the answer, your answer is 1 over 1 and
Yeah.
1 over 8. So that the answer is not there.
Yeah.
Yes. So you have to redo it again. And then you have to be stubborn in mathematics. If it doesn't work, you have to redo it. Finish number 7. What about number 6? How many of you got it right? 1. What's your answer? C. What's your answer? What's your? C. So no more? Only 3? Okay. Yes? I don't have any guess for that. It's harder for me to guess. Okay. Okay. But instead of believing things, it's better to derive them, yes? Yeah, but that's problematic, you know. If you want to bet your life on it, 1% is also a big chance. Yeah. But by the way, that to answer this randomly, the probability is 25%, but some recent multiple choice questions have 5 options, so it means that the chance is even lower. Ah, you did some calculations. Ah, okay, that's better. Even if you cannot solve it, you can do something. For example, I was thinking that is it good because you know that 2 of them are positive, 2 of them are negative. But then then I realized they designed it in a correct way, because what this number at the end is negative. Because this is positive, this is negative, you are dividing, you get a negative number. Here you get a positive number because both of them are positive. But you have a positive number added to a negative number, everything can happen. Yes? Positive plus negative might be positive, positive plus negative might be negative. And then so there is no way to cheat like this as simple. Because if they were not careful, might be we could cheat a little bit without solving the problem, yes? Yeah, I heard you. You said you told me that you did some calculations, and based on those calculations, now you are convinced that the chance of having A as the answer is higher. That's what you said. Yes, I heard you. Okay. Let me also teach you, because by the way, so let me first of all, at least you were able to solve this properly for me, some of you. That's very good news. So 1 over 64 to power 0, what is the answer? 1. It doesn't matter which number we have to the power 0, it is 1. But for 64, what do you write? The best number here is to write 8 to power 2. Yes? Because I have a denominator 2 and these two will be cancelled. So let me just write it patiently. This one to power minus a half. And then for 32, in this case, what is the best option? 5. So it is 2 to the power of 5, and then to the power of 4 over 5. Minus the same thing here, yes? So it is 2 to the power of 5 to the power of minus 4 over 5. So this is just 1 plus. Okay, can you do the calculation in your head? It's 1 over 8. Why? Because 2 times minus 1 over 2 is minus 1. So this means I will have 8 to power minus 1. But if I ask you what is 8 to power minus 1, hopefully you immediately realize this is just 1 over 8. And now can you do this calculation in your head? 2 to the 5 times by 4 over 5. So this 5 and that 5 will cancel. I am left with 4. And then I have 2 to the 4th, which is 16. Yes? Minus. What is the other one? What is the other one in your head? 5 and that 5 will be cancelled when they are multiplied. Minus 4 is left. 2 to power minus 4 is 1 over 2 to the power of positive 4. But what is that one? 16. Is that understandable? Okay. And then 1 and 16 becomes 17. And then I have to simplify these two, but this denominator is 8. I can rescale it and write it 2 over 16 minus 1 over 16. Yes? So the answer is 17 plus 1 over 16. But no one writes like that. Of course, that is not wrong. According to the answer, it should be 17. As I write it as a mixed fraction. So the answer is 17 and 1 over 6. Was this the answer? 16, sorry. Was it the answer or not? Okay, so that's the correct answer. Let us now go back to here. In this problem, it might be a little bit complicated. So you can divide this. By the way, this is some skill that you need to learn in the future if you want to get a good job in the future. If the problem is hard, you need to learn how to divide the problem into simpler problems, yes? Every time, every day before sleeping, you could solve one part. And then after a week, then you can glue them together and you have your problem solved. This is the way that the projects are actually going on. So I would consider this as a simple project now, for example. 10 over 27 and minus 2/3. In mathematics, the rules are actually unforgivable, so you have to respect them. Don't think that you can swap them here and make it positive. The rule that I told you was the rule without this number there. If this number is not here, yes, you can swap them and make it positive. This is the main source of error for novice people who are doing mathematics. Okay? So this is not possible doing it in that way. So what is your suggestion to do this? Yes? As a proper fraction. Mixed fractions are not good for calculations usually. So as soon as I can, I get rid of them. But I do some calculations in my head. So I will multiply this by that, 54. And then add 10 to it, 64. So the numerator becomes 64, the denominator is 27, and then I have it to the power of minus 2/3. Now, can I use that trick now? Yes. So it is better to get rid of the negative if you want to. Okay. And then hopefully you realize 27 and 64 are good numbers. We have them sometime in our memories. Yes. What I can do, what can I write? 3 over 4, yes, to the power of 3. Do you agree? Because 3 to power 3 is 27, 4 to power 3 is 64. So what you see is just this number, but I have another power on top. And then this 3 will be multiplied here. What is left? 2. This is the way that you have to write it if it is an exam question. Then it becomes 9 over 16. So the first part is done. And then what you have to do is just to be patient, yes? So here you have 11, 1 over 9 to the power of minus 0.5. So do it in your head again. What's the answer? 100 over 9. Can I use that trick to swap and then get rid of the negative sign here? Yes, but here, no. Yes, here I can swap. So it becomes 9 over 100 to power positive half. Yes? And then what happens? Instead of 9 over 100, can I write what? 3 over 10 to the power of? No, 2. And then to the power of 0.5 or 1 over 2. It doesn't matter. And then I know that I can multiply them. When I multiply them, 2 times 0.5 is 1. So I really don't bother at all. So I just write 3 over 10. Yes? So you see, it takes time. No worries. But it is doable. Okay. And then another part of the project is to calculate the first part. So for simplicity of writing, if you don't mind, let me give it a name A. So then A, what is A? A is the first number that I calculated, which is 9 over 16 divided by what? 3 over 10. But you know the rule. It becomes 9 over 16 multiplied by 10 over 3. I really want you don't start multiplying right away. If you can simplify them. How you can simplify them? This way, and cross manner way. Yes. So here I cannot simplify in this way. I cannot simplify, but I can simplify 3 to 3 1 times, 9 to 3 3 times. I can simplify this by 2 5 times. I can simplify this by 2 8 times. And then if you multiply 3 by 5, it is 15. And if you multiply 8 by 1, it is 8. So the first part of the project is actually finished. So I got this to be 15 over 8. The second part is probably even simpler, yes? I want to do the other parts. So what is your opinion about the first part? 6.25 to the power of minus 0.5. Oh no, sorry, positive. So how should I calculate this? Yeah? Yeah, that's one way. So 6.25. So working with decimals are not very good because the numbers are big. So this one you can write 625 divided by 100. Do you agree? Because 625 divided by 100 is the same number. And then you want to raise it to power 0.5. Everyone knows about 100, but might be not many of you knows about 625. 625 is also 25 squared. But if you don't know that, it doesn't matter, because I told you you can simplify. So can you simplify this by 5 in your head? 625 divided by 5. What is the answer? 125. Yes? Yes? So you divide this by 5, 125. So if you cannot, you can simplify this. So the easiest way is what I told you, of course. But if you don't have it in your memory, either you have to simplify this or you have to go to a scratch paper and then try to factorize that. Yes? So if I divide by 5, it becomes 125. If I divide this by 5, it becomes 20. But still, I can simplify that. By what? By 5 again. If I divide by 5, it becomes 4. If I divide by 5, it becomes 25. And I cannot make it simpler, but I don't need to make it more simpler because this easily can be seen. It can be written as this to power 2 to power 0.5. Yes?
Couldn't you write 6.25 as 6 and then 1 over 4 instead, and then just do 6 times 4 and add it to the...
Yeah, yes, that's also a very good thing. Yes, so what you are saying is that 625, so you are saying that I can, in your head, you can write it like this, but this is just 6. Yes, that's probably much better, thank you. So this is 1 over 4. And then you can write it 25 over 4. That's also possible. Yes, that's a very good way, thank you. And then what happens here? This becomes what? 5 over 2. Agree? Because this 2 will be multiplied the same story. But for me, for example, by the way, if someone writes like this, do you agree with that person?
Yes.
Why? Because I told you that's extremely important thing to remember. A to power 1 over n is the nth root of a. Okay? When n is 2, we don't write this number here. So this means that 625 is to the power of 0.5 can be viewed as this number. And this can be written as the square root of that one. Yes? That's good to know about these things. So I would say that this is better than my solution probably for you, okay? Because I have these numbers in my memory, I don't pay too much attention for these details. I immediately write that. But I think this method is better than I did here. Okay. Now let us continue. What is the last part of the project finally? Minus 4 to the power of minus 1. You have power of minus 1. There is one way to do it. Bring it down, make it positive. So, but this number itself is negative. Yes, so it's minus. So I would prefer to write minus sign here. Okay, so if you don't mind, let me call this part B. And then let us finally calculate that part of the project B. So what is the answer? This one was 5 over 2. And then I have division by the second one. The second one is minus 1 over 4. But you know how to do that. It is 5 over 2. You change it to multiplication. You swap them. It becomes what? Minus 4. And then 2 and minus 4 are simplified. It is minus 2. It's minus 10. So B part is what? Minus 10. And then we have to add. The question mark is A plus B. A, we got it to be 15 over 8. And then B is minus 10. Yes? So I think what you said is probably correct. Yes? By the way, if I give this, do you know how to do it fast? Yes? You take 8, 8 to 8 one time, so it is 15. 8 to 1 8 times, you multiply it here, it becomes minus 80. And then if you simplify that, it becomes minus 65 over 8. And your answer is actually correct. Congratulations. Yes? So how many of you got this right? Yeah, very good. By the calculation, not by, okay, good. Okay, so you see that these problems are not, so you might consider this a hard problem. It's not hard, okay? But you need to be patient. And the reward that you get is the self of satisfaction at the end, which is actually the reason motivates people to carry on mathematics. Okay, so if we go back to this, today we solved a lot of problems except number 2. If we can also solve number 2, then we finish this one. 7 good hard problems, you see. So this is the way that I ask you to solve problems when I give you time to practice. Not every now and then solve one problem. You have to really use your time in a nice way. I want to wait for you to solve number 2 so that we complete this page at least. Okay? So this is not supposed to calculate, you're supposed to find n. Guessing is not good. For the multiple choice question, guessing is probably good, but I want you to be able to write it down, okay, to find n in an appropriate way. Just give me 1 second to pause recording. Come back to this. Okay, so I think it's very simple. So how can you tell me how to do it? So I want to find n so that square root of 3 to the n turns out to be 81. Okay, it was simple, you probably could guess, but let us do it properly. So a square root of 3 to the n means 3 to the n to the power of 1/2. Do you agree with me? Yes. But then we know the rule. So it becomes 3 n times 1/2. But n times 1/2 means n divided by 2. Okay? But then on the right hand side, I hope that now you understand what is 81. 81 has a relation with power of 3, yes? It is 3 to power 4. So instead of this one, I write 3 to the power of n over 2. Instead of 81, I write 3 to power 4. Now look, 3 to a number which we don't know is supposed to be 3 to the power of 4. So it is clear that n over 2 should be what? N over 2 should be 4. And as you predicted, right, it is 8. So this is the systematic way of solving these kinds of equations. Okay, so now let me see what is left for us here in the next page. I think it's good to stop here. If you want, I can, but the questions are becoming harder. For example, this is also something good to be able to do. This is the third root of the sixth root of 5 to the 5, and then to the 5 to the 9, and then to the 4, and then multiplied by that. If you want, you can think about this. But this is these are good questions. I will also introduce the book that I am using. They are very, very cheap. You can buy them for 5 crowns or 20 crowns or something as the Kindle edition that I have actually got it here. No, I will not give these kinds of questions in the test, but because some of them are actually not hard. For example, this could be in the test. It's not. No, but that is, I mean that if you are interested in mathematics, it is really important to be able to solve something proper. For example, this one, you see it is not that easy to guess x in this case. So in that case, it was so simple to guess that n, but they designed the question in a way that you need to find it in a systematic way. Okay. I can stop here if you don't have any questions. Any questions? Okay, and then you can continue practicing on your own. Thank you.